This next story is one that, at least the takeaway from the story is one that I don't have to tell you guys, because I'm certain that you already know. The fact that Klaus Schwab, the founder and chairman of the World Economic Forum, is evil. He's a globalist. People will sometimes say that he has good intentions and maybe he's misguided. No. He is just pure evil. The only real question we have to answer is he at the top of the hierarchy, or is he a minion of the whoever, the powers and principalities? Is he just a spokesperson, or is he the thought leader? We don't know. I know some people say they know for certain that he's the big bad guy, and a lot of times they'll say that Yuval Noah Harari is just his advisor. Sometimes I think it's the other way around. I think that Harari might be calling the shots, and Klaus Schwab might just be his spokesperson, or whatever you want to go, front man. I don't know. Above my pay grade, but I do know that he is evil, that they're both evil, that pretty much all of them are evil. And his latest proclamation actually happened at an event that needs to get much more attention. Okay, it doesn't get nearly as much attention as, for example, the World Economic Forum yearly gathering of evil billionaires and world leaders and journalists and everybody else in Davos. That gets a lot of attention. What does not get much attention is the World Government Summit. The World Government Summit is actually, one could make an argument that that's the real, I guess you could say, planning point for actual globalist evil. Okay, the World Economic Forum is really more, a lot of times they're talking about theoretical stuff, think tank kind of stuff. Whereas at the World Government Forum, this is where the same basic world leaders, including Klaus Schwab himself, go to actually discuss their plans. How are they going to initiate the evil goals that they have, the technocratic, transhumanist, globalist agenda that they have in mind? But, that's like lemmings a lot of times, corporate media and even conservative and alternative media, we like to focus on the low-hanging fruit. We go to Davos because it's fun. And I'm not talking about fun as in like go get you a bunch of prostitutes like the world leaders do. I'm saying fun because that's one that everybody knows about. It draws attention. The World Government Forum, on the other hand, does not. I mean, World Government Summit, I should say. That does not get much attention. And it should. During the keynote speech at the 2023 conference, this is Klaus Schwab basically telling us exactly what he thinks. And in this case, he tells us who will be the masters of the world. What do they need to master in order to be the quote unquote, literally using the phrase master of the world? Watch.
We are at the beginning. When you look at it, at technology transformation, it usually takes place in the terms of an S-curve. And we are just now where we move into the exponential phase. And I agree. Artificial intelligence, but not only artificial intelligence, but also the metaverse, near space technologies, and I could go on and on, synthetic biology. Our life in 10 years from now will be completely different, very much affected, and who masters those technologies in some way will be the master of the world.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's not ashamed. He's not holding back punches. He's not worried that he's going to be outed as a globalist, a technocrat, a transhumanist, an evil man. He doesn't care. He's with his people. This is, again, the World Government Summit, where the people, the attendees, are there to decide how to initiate the plans that were discussed in theory at, for example, the World Economic Forum Davos Summit. This is the bad stuff. And even when he's saying things that sort of kind of make sense, yeah, let me just play it here. I'm going to play one more video. This is where he kind of makes a little bit of sense here. Basically saying we've got to master technology in order to make sure you listen, and let's get your feedback on this one in the chat.
You invented and you wrote, the fourth industrial revolution. What is next? What is next after the fourth industrial revolution? Where your mind take you?
I think the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, will be in our mind for quite some years to come. But what is very essential, my concern, my deep concern, is that those technologies, if we do not work together on a global scale, if we do not formulate, shape together the necessary policies, they will escape our power to master those technologies. Because artificial intelligence, it's relatively easy, let's say, to understand how a computer functions. Of course, if I go back to the first industrial revolution, how a steam engine functions. But how does really quantum computing function? How does artificial intelligence, particularly if it's self-replicating, functions? So one of my concerns is how to shape the necessary policies to make sure that those technologies serve humankind. But the second concern which I have, and where governments have an important role, the change goes so fast in our world, and will go even faster. How can we make sure that the individual, each citizen, doesn't feel overwhelmed by change because he cannot understand really what's going on? And if we do not understand, we become fearful and we react negatively, and we see the first consequences already in many countries with polarization of the public opinion. It has to do with some feeling that we lose control over our own fate. And here I think governments have an important role to explain and to have the ambition and the vision to show that those technologies can serve for the good and are not per se evil.
So you got to read between the lines on that one, folks. You know, I know that he didn't come out and say anything that was blatantly evil, but it was blatantly evil if you're paying attention, if you're hearing what, not just the words, but putting it in context with what he said in the past and what he said surrounding there. Again, context is everything. By themselves, they might not seem too bad, but let's look at a little bit of that context. One point in particular that I thought was very telling. Let me pull up the article from reclaimthenet.org. But where was that section? Here we go. My deep concern. I'm not going to do a Klaus Schwab impersonation. I want to, though. No, I'm not going to do it. My deep concern is that the source technologies, if we do not work together on a global scale, if we do not shape together the necessary policies, they will escape our power to master those technologies. And he expressed his desire to shape the necessary policies to make sure that these technologies serve humankind. And when he says humankind, he's talking about the remnant, and he's talking specifically about the people that are here serving the elites that are still left after the depopulation agenda is put into place. Those are the people that he wants to go after. Well, and it's important. He did note in the previous video, I forgot to mention, he did note a couple of other technologies that I don't think he's right. They don't get nearly as much attention as they should. Of course, artificial intelligence, everybody's been talking about that for a long time. Metaverse has been getting a little bit of play, but neo-space technologies, that's new to most, even in alternative media. And when he talks about synthetic biology, that's an extremely important one, because that is a key. For those who aren't familiar with synthetic biology, that is one of the keys to transhumanism. Synthetic biology is about creating and or manipulating pre-existing biology and essentially making it artificial, but still from a biological perspective. It's not necessarily about, we're going to make like synthetic biology. Okay, so basic engineering, not basic, but advanced engineering is how you'd make, for example, a prosthetic arm. Synthetic biology would be used to connect that arm to the brain to where you could move it. That's a positive example of synthetic biology. I don't want to make it sound as if synthetic biology by itself is bad. But then on the other hand, lab-grown meat, that too is synthetic biology, and that is very, very bad. And that's pretty much what he's talking about here. The bottom line is, yes, Klaus Schwab is evil, but he's not just some evil Bond villain who's out there, coming up with ideas and coming up with horrible ways and complicated ways to make it happen. He's very straightforward, very simple, and he's addressing the people that can make it happen. When we look at the World Economic Forum and the summit in Davos, that's nothing compared to the World Government Summit, where Klaus Schwab is a part of as well. Keep an eye on it, spread the word, let your folks know this is it, this is the bad stuff. There's a reason Klaus Schwab, Joe Biden, and the globalist elites want your life savings locked in IRAs and other portfolio management schemes that they control. They can keep your money tied up in woke ESG funds, even if doing so will lose you money. Patriots are quickly moving their investments to self-directed IRAs backed by physical precious metals. Unfortunately, most companies that work in this field are beholden to Democrats, the Chinese Communist Party, the WEF, and others who are pushing us toward a digital dollar. I have identified 3 precious metals companies that believe in America first. These companies make it easy for you to move your retirements and investment to a self-directed IRA backed by physical precious metals. Go to jdrucker.com/gold. That's jdrucker.com/gold.